There are patterns in history that repeat themselves with eerie precision: wars, economic collapses, political upheavals. At first glance they seem like coincidences. But when you connect the dots, a different picture begins to emerge. One that hints at orchestration, control, and a plan so vast, so deeply embedded in global systems, that most refuse to believe it exists. This is the story of the New World Order, and the global elite some believe are shaping humanity's future from the shadows. It begins with a simple question: who really pulls the strings? Governments rise and fall. Leaders come and go. But the systems, the banks, the corporations, the intelligence alliances, they remain. They evolve. They strengthen. And they are not accountable to the public. Instead, they answer only to those at the top. Men and women whose names never appear on ballots. Who don't need armies because they control economies. Who don't need to censor speech because they own the platforms. The idea of a new world order is not new. It has been mentioned in speeches by presidents, whispered about in think tanks, and ridiculed in mainstream media. But it is very real, not as a formal group but as a convergence of interests. Financial, political, technological, ideological. Take the 1991 speech by President George H.W. Bush, where he openly spoke of a new world order, a world where nations work together under shared values and global institutions. On the surface it sounded like hope. Beneath it, some saw a warning, a shift away from national sovereignty toward centralized control. But it didn't start there. In 1944, at the Bretton Woods Conference, global financial structures were rewritten. The World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, institutions born in the ashes of World War II to prevent another global collapse, or to centralize economic control under a handful of powers. Look at the global financial system today. A handful of banks control the majority of the world's capital. BlackRock, Vanguard, JP Morgan. These firms hold stakes in nearly every major corporation. The same institutions that caused the 2008 collapse emerged stronger, more consolidated. Billionaires profited while millions lost homes and jobs. Was it incompetence or design? Consider the Bilderberg Group. Since 1954, world leaders, CEOs, bankers, and intelligence officials have gathered annually in complete secrecy. No press. No public record. What is discussed behind those walls? Economic strategies? Political engineering? Crisis simulations? Then there's the World Economic Forum in Davos. Their vision of a digitized, centralized future is sold as innovation. Their mantra? You'll own nothing and be happy. But who owns what's left? The lines between corporations and governments are blurring. Lobbyists write laws. Tech giants shape speech. Pharmaceutical companies influence health policy. And behind all of it, a silent agreement that profit and power outweigh transparency. Technology has become the perfect tool for control. Surveillance systems, facial recognition, social credit scores, programmable digital currencies. These are not theories. They are being implemented. Piece by piece. Platform by platform. Convenience now. Control later. Crisis is the great accelerator. 9/11 led to the Patriot Act. A global pandemic gave rise to biometric tracking. Climate emergencies opened doors to carbon quotas and digital identity systems. Each disaster, real or manufactured, pushes society further into dependence. And each time liberties shrink. But here's where the narrative twists. What if the United States, rather than being the puppet master, is the final firewall? The last unpredictable variable in a system that craves total uniformity? Yes, American institutions have been involved. Yes, the CIA has touched every continent. But the U.S. remains one of the only places on Earth where free speech is enshrined, where millions question the narrative, where the Second Amendment exists, and where the Constitution resists the drift toward centralization. That is both the reason global elites operate within America, and why they fear it. They fund both sides of political debate. They influence media. But they cannot erase history. They cannot easily silence dissent. And they cannot fully program the American mind. And that's where the fractures appear. Leaks, whistleblowers, anonymous documents, journalists who vanish, activists labeled as extremists, politicians who rise then fall. The battle isn't just for territory, it's for truth, for narrative, for control over what people believe is real. The New World Order is not a government. It is a vision, a direction, one of global governance, corporate feudalism, and post-democratic systems. It thrives in silence. It feeds on apathy. But exposure is its greatest weakness. Once people see the pattern, they can't unsee it. Once you realize the same global foundations funding public health are investing in surveillance tech, that the same billionaires buying farmland are pushing for lab-grown food, that the same NGOs creating global curriculums are backed by data firms tied to intelligence, then the illusion begins to crack. This isn't fear-mongering. It's documentation. The pattern is real. The connections are documented. The strategy is slow, patient, generational. It is not about left or right. It's about power. And in this silent war, your mind is the battlefield. Because the New World Order only works if no one questions it. But people are questioning. And remembering. That freedom is not inherited. It is defended. That truth is not given. It is hunted. That history is not written in ink. It is carved in awareness. This is the New World Order. This is your forbidden dossier. And the file is now open. Are you ready to see what's inside?